Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we are doing our Christmas wall hanging, and we're actually going to make this a twofer project. It's going to be Christmas and fall, but we're doing the Christmas part first, okay? So I don't usually do this, but I thought I'd show you the supplies that I know I'm going to be using, and then just the other supplies as we get going will kind of show up. So the big star of the show today is going to be this media paste from Brutus Monroe. I'm going to use that with our stencils. These two stencils we had in store, I'm pretty sure they're sold out and they were discontinued, but any stencils you have like this will work, and we will continue to try to find more to replace these with because I know how much you guys loved those. I'm also going to play with some Distress Oxide re-inkers to color our paste, so we're doing that. I'm going to use this Gina Marie dye, which is the Pine Bows, I think, or I think that's what it's called. I also think this one sold out, but it is coming back. This one was real popular in Christmas in July. And then a piece of chipboard. Oh, and finally, this guy. This is a shadow box, and this is going to be the base that I'm using. And I'm actually going to decorate the back of it in Christmas. And then this side, I'm going to decorate in fall, so I can flip this around on my wall and get double use out of it. Fall will be another project we'll do later. Okay. Without further ado, let's get started. What I want to do is I want to media paste stencil my ornaments onto a piece of chipboard. And it seems kind of redundant, but I was going to do it directly onto my shadow box, but I decided I might want to cut these guys out and kind of ink them and play with them in different ways. So I didn't want to have them permanently on the shadow box. So that's why I'm doing them on the chipboard. I also want to see if these are too big. They don't seem too big. I want to use 3 of them. And I'm thinking this one, and this one. But I really love this with the polka dot. So let's see. Maybe this one, and this one. Yeah, I like that idea. All right. I also have those smaller ones if I decide I need to use them. I don't think I'm going to need to. All right, this I'm going to purple tape on. Luckily for me, this guy is 12 by 12 and my chipboard is 12 by 12. So I'm just going to tape this down into place, and I'm going to do all 3 of these guys where they sit. So I'm going to get this taped really well. I do not want it to shift or wiggle. And before we do any of the paste application, we are going to color our paste. So I think that'll hold that nice and firm. I'm going to put that aside. Let's start coloring. I'm going to do one color at a time because I don't want my paste to start to dry. I don't know how quickly this will dry. It's going to be different based on where you are in the country, like humidity and things like that. We have a lot of humidity here, so it may take it a while, but I want to be safe, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take about, probably don't need that much, but we're going to start with that much. Let me waste product. You learn from me. How about that? So don't waste product in your house. Let me see. And that may not be enough. Let's add a little bit more. Because I'd rather have too much than have to come back and do it again. Let's go ahead and mix our red. Let's cover this guy up. Now, I would imagine you could use this a lot like I do with paint and things like that. Once I get this mixed, if I do want to go ahead and mix all my colors, I could cover this with like some saran wrap, nice and firm, but it might be kind of wasteful and I don't want to do that. I could also probably stick this plate into a Ziploc bag and just hold it until I'm using it. Anything to kind of keep it out of the air. All right, so I'm going to add some of this. And something I know about red is it can either be too much too fast or too little. And it depends on the pigment in the red. Sometimes you can put what you feel like is a lot and then mix it and it turns kind of pink. So you may have to add more as we go, but you may have enough right there. Look how pretty that is. Now these are the oxide inks. So they're going to give me more of that soft color than like a bright, vibrant color. But this is going a little not the color I want, so I'm going to add some more of that. See how that's going away from red? So I'm going to add some more, see if we can get it redder. It's kind of whipped, kind of cool. Let's just see. I do feel like this is probably going to water down my media paste a little bit. Probably just make it take longer to dry. Something that works really well with this is color burst. And you know, Christopher has a color burst line, and also his surface sprays will color really well. I just grabbed this because it's what I had handy. That looks pretty good. It's kind of a vintage red, but I'm happy with that color. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and stencil one of those ornaments while I've got that good and mixed and ready to go. And I really think I want this bottom one to be red. I want it to be to kind of look like a peppermint. And so also notice that I chose to use my white chipboard for that very reason. I'm going to get 2 out of 1 for this. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scrape some of my color up. And to be honest, I really don't mind if it has kind of some variations in it of color. That's not going to bother me much because, you know, I like that look too. And I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to treat this kind of like you would if you were doing like screen printing. And I don't have like a traditional palette knife, but I have this butter knife, and that's what I'm going to use. It's a plastic butter knife. So I'm just going to go through and smear this on. And I'm trying not to smear it underneath my stencil, but I might get some under it. It won't be the end of the world. I found that using the back of my spoon feels a little better, and I like kind of the texture it's giving, kind of a swirly texture there. I'm going to go with that because something I want to do is to ink drag over this if possible, or do some kind of dragging over it. So I kind of like that. All right, so there's the red one. I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to do the same process for this one and this one with 2 other colors. There's my green. It doesn't look extremely green on camera, but it is greener than that in person. So I'm going to put that aside and bring my stencil back over. I think I want to do this one in green. I think it'll be cool for that color. So I'm going to, again, I'm going to use the back of my spoon. I think it works really well for this. I'm just going to drop this down and smear it on. You guys may not know this about me. You probably will after watching this video. I'm not much of a mixed media artist. I don't do this a lot, but I can see why you would want to be a mixed media artist because there's just no rules and it's just freeing and exciting and fun. So I can totally get why a lot of you guys are really into your mixed media. Just not something I lean to. I'm more of a paper artist. So there's that one. All right, now to the next color, which you might find controversial. So I'm going to try something. I'm making black next. So I'm just going to mix it on top of this green. I don't think it's going to hurt a thing in the world. It will probably help the color to add that green to it also. So I'm just going to not waste it and reuse it. And since I want it to be pretty black, you know what else I'm going to do? I'm not going to mix this one up. I'm going to let that, the pigment, whatever that powder is that's in there that makes it oxidy, I'm not going to mix that in. I'm not going to shake it this time. I'm just going to put the separated black. See how much darker that is? I'm going to put that in and see if we can turn this black. And I'm using a lot because black will turn gray really quick with white. So let's just see what we can get here. So I was going to do solid black, and as I got to mixing this and the green kind of mixed in with it, I like this kind of charcoal gray color. It kind of gives me the feel of silver almost, and the way I'm going to finish these off, I think this is the color that will work really well. So I'm going to leave this way and do my last ornament in that. So the last ornament is going to be this guy. So bring our paste over, plop that down on there. I'm making mine pretty thick too. I don't think you have to make it as thick as I'm doing, but I just kind of like the texture that I get from that. And I'm trying to be a little careful here not to mix into the other two. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and release the tape and peel these off. This is the fun part. Right, now that is separated. I'm going to pick this up as easy as I can and just gently pick it off. Look at that, not bad. I got a little bit of bleeding in like one little spot. It's not terrible, it's right there, and I think I can even fix that. Other than that, it looks really cool. So I'm gonna let these guys dry while I go wash my stencil, and we'll move on to the next part. While the ornaments are drying, I'm gonna do a little more kind of the background prep, and I have this piece of wood paper which it's not wood paper, it's wood pattern paper. And it is from the Moda Scrap Wood Effect collection. Which, by the way, I should tell you, if you are a YouTube creator and you want something that makes great backgrounds for your thumbnails, that whole pack is perfect for that, because there is a different kind of wood for every kind of thing, everything from rustic to modern, and you could use it for just anything. I'm telling you, it's really cool, because I have a whole pack I use just for photos now. All right, this is going to go on the back of our shadow box. And I'm going to put this in the screen. This shadow box is 12 by 12. It's hard to fit into the screen. But this piece of paper is also 12 by 12. And it's going to fit the back perfectly. So I'm going to just do a double check and make sure it is perfect. If it's not, I'm going to trim it where I need to. You can also, like back, and I may do this time, I'm not sure. You can also glue this down and then sand the edges to get it to be nice and smooth. I used to do that when I would do woodwork or wood things like this all the time. I'm going to trim a tiny bit off of this side, like maybe an eighth, just to make it feel a little better. And I still might need to do that whole sanding idea, but I think an eighth will get us really close. You know, sometimes these 12 by 12 papers are generous, and that's okay. I'd rather be generous than skimpy, right? Okay, so that feels good there. It feels good here. I might have a little bit showing, but I can always rough up the edges if I want to. So that is going to get glued down there, and I'm just going to use art glitter glue to do that with. You do want to pay attention to your pattern. If it matters to you, you want to make sure you pick the top of your box. Mine is up here. I didn't really care which way my pattern went because it's just wood, so this is going to work just fine. And just because I want this guy to last as long as it can, and I want to keep these edges from getting too roughed up, I'm going to run around and see if this is lifting at all. And if it is, I'm going to add, see right there, it's lifting on this little corner. Get that in. I'm going to add some glue just to get that nice and snug down to the edges. So I want to use some of the greenery using those dies. You could actually just use actual greenery like that you would pick up from like the Dollar Tree or Walmart, just some, you know, floral pick greenery. But I'm going to do it with paper. And this is actually from that Celebrate Autumn set we just got in. This is the paper, the coordinating pack. It's not like the actual autumn pack. This is the coordinating pack. This green seems to work really well with both my ornaments and my background. So I'm going to make my greenery out of this color. And I'm just going to run through and cut this down into 4-inch strips. Just so it will fit into my die cut machine better. And then I'm going to cut it down in half too. And I'm going to cut as many little pine boughs. I think it's bows. I don't know. Many little pine pieces, sprigs, there's my new word, pine sprigs, that's what we're calling it. I'm going to cut as many pine sprigs as I can out of this green. So the Cuttlebug, and then an A plate and a magnetic plate there. My very beat up and loved B plate. I'm going to try to cut 2 of these at a time. They're pretty intricate, and that may not work, but I thought I'd give it a try. And I'm going to use all of the shapes, because I want to mix this up and make it look very organic. So I'm just going to fit them on here as much as I can and get as much out of this paper as I can. That's cool. I can get exactly all 4 of them on one piece that I cut. And that's a 4 by 6 piece that I cut out. Then I'll just put my other B plate on top and run this through. And let's see if it'll cut 2 at a time, 2 sheets at a time. It was a pretty tight squeeze. We'll see how well it did. Let's pick that out of there and see if it did both layers. I know it did the top layer. I can feel that one. Do that one second. Look how intricate this is. I tore it a little bit. I actually don't think I tore it. I think I just left some in there. There's one. And let's pick out another one. Oh, one already fell out for me. There's another one. Then let's get this guy. Some little places, they're more intricate than others, and it's really delicate work. Mostly that first one. These guys are doing real easy. Look how, I mean, goodness. That is so intricate. And then this one. So when I use this, I'm wanting to use them kind of stacked on top of each other like this. And even around like this at the top of the ornament. And I want to use like a bow or something at the top. So that's why I'm kind of wanting all the greenery so it can look like I just gathered some out of the yard. And this color reminds me of like a spruce, like an iced spruce, kind of that blue green. I really like it. Well, let me see if it cut through the second page. We got one out. It did cut this one really well. That's the second sheet. Let's see this one. This one seems a little bit less cut, but it still seems like it's cut through. Nope, I think cutting through 2 at a time is not the way to go. You can see, I told you, let me test it, not you guys. It's close, but it's not perfect. I think these are just too intricate for that. Yeah, you can see how it didn't get all the way through. So do 1 sheet at a time. I told you, let me learn it. You don't waste your supplies. And we'll do them 1 sheet at a time. I really think I'm only going to need like 4 sprigs per ornament. So I may only have to run through 3 times anyway. So I got all my little pine sprigs cut. And now I've decided I want to ink them a little bit because they're a little flat in color. And it's going to be delicate, but I'm just going to run through the tips like this. I just want them to have some dimension on the edges. It's not the hardest thing, and I won't be able to get like this perfect shading, but it will make a difference. I'll show you. And I'm really focusing on the ends because that's where I think I'll get the most bang for my buck. See the difference? Let me put another one beside it. You can see how flat this one looks compared to this one. So pretty. So I'm just going to run through and just hit the tips of each one of these with some, this is Vintage Photo, my fave, and it's not the oxide. I want to get a nice solid color. I don't want it to be soft and muted. I really am using it for shade here, so I am using the original color. That's so pretty. They look so real. Now back to the ornaments. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this Perfect Pearl set from Ranger. I wasn't sure if I was going to. That's why I didn't show you in the beginning, but I just decided I would. I think I'm going to start with this color and see how it looks, and if I don't like it, I can add the gold later because it's a darker color. But it comes with this little brush. It comes with the medium. It comes with these 2 colors. And I want to say we have another set that has like 4 colors. I'm not 100% on that one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly drag this across this ornament and let that medium kind of catch on the high places. And I'm not trying to overdo it. Oh, I got a little bit on there because it was wet. So make sure you wait till it dries. I'm not trying to overdo it. I just want some on there. And I'm actually going to go to the cap first. And while that's wet, I'm going to brush this over. And again, it may not be enough to start. I may want to come back and add some more. I just want to see how this goes. I'm going to avoid that spot that was wet. I don't want to get it on my brush. And I can see that not a lot of that ink, there's a little bit there. Not a whole lot stuck. I didn't press very hard. I knew I wasn't going to. I'm going to try to clean this off with a wet rag real quick. Okay, I'm going to go back to it. This time I think I'm going to press a little bit and see if I can get on those surfaces, on those raised spots a little bit better. Not pressing too hard. Just a little bit on those edges. Okay. Now then, this time I'm going to dip into them, put it off into the little, I know I don't need that much, so I'm just going to put it into the little cap and start to rub that around. And it'll stick. It may stick in more places than I really want it to on this media paste, but that's okay. I think it's pretty. Kind of gives it a shimmer. Look at that shimmer on there. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just shimmer, shimmer. Now, I'm going to come back. I told you I think I know a way to fix wherever I bled. So I'm going to come back and fix those spots in a little bit, but I'm going to let that sit like that for now. And I'm going to go into the green one now. Do the same thing. I'm going to take my Perfect Medium. Just kind of run that around a little haphazard, especially around the edges. Because anywhere it's lifted up, I want it to catch. Back into my Perfect Pearls. And then just start rubbing that on. That one is really, really pretty. And you can see it in there. But in real life, it doesn't look quite as splotchy as that. Let me see if I can get it to kind of shimmer and show. Look at that. What a difference that makes. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to take just a clean cloth. I have this cloth I keep in my craft room. This guy that I use for everything. It's one of those lint-free cloths. And I'm just going to rub that over to get any of that loose pigment off because I'm fixing to set it. And once I set it, it's set. So that got any of the loose off. And what I'm going to do, as the instructions say, is I'm going to take a mister and I'm just going to mist these ornaments where are the ones that I did the Perfect Pearls on. And that's what makes them permanent. And I don't want to overwet them, just mist them, let them sit. Because even if it doesn't stick everywhere, but only where the water hits, I'm okay with that too. All right, I need to let those dry. And then I'm going to come back and do that cleanup I told you about. So it's going to be glary from here on out because these are sparkly and shimmery, but that's all right. We can handle it. I think when I sprayed this with water, it's even cooler, and I don't think that's shown on camera, but some of the spots kind of pulled up, and I really love how it looks kind of rustic and vintage. Really cool. Okay, here's what I'm going to do to fix those spots. I'm going to go back into my media paste, and I'm going to paint those spots in between where I got a little heavy with my stencil. You don't have to do this. I just kind of want that to be cleaner in there. So I'm going to use the media paste and paint in those spots just to knock that back. And I think this will work really well because it's matte finished, so it'll dry matte like my chipboard. So on camera, that probably doesn't look too bad, but it's not great. And I think what I'm going to do is cut these guys out, put them onto my board, and then I'm going to use some glitter in all of those lines, and that'll cover all that up. All right, so I'm going to cut these guys out, and I'm going to do it by hand. And this chipboard is pretty thick, but I think that these scissors, these shears, will do just fine to make pretty easy work of it. And I can't decide. I think I am going to cut right to the edge of the design. And I'm going to take my time because I have worked too hard on these guys to let these mess up now, you know. So all three of them are cut out. They're pretty cool. I mean, I like how they turned out. They look pretty neat. And I like that I did them on the chipboard because they're thicker. But they're too white for me because I want to put them on this background. And I feel like that's too stark white compared to the background. So we're going to ink them. And I'm going to start by inking the edges. And I may just stop there. But I may decide to ink even further in. But we're going to see. This might help them to be a little more vintage and to match a little better. So I'm just going to run the edges first and see how that just changes it just a little bit. It might be enough. See, that looks much better to me. Let's put it on the background and see what it looks like there. See, just a little better. I might even go inside there. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see. Let's go ahead and do outside of all of them. That one looks really neat. The cool thing is it's not messing with the shimmer. The shimmer is still there. So I can take the ink in a little further if I want to and still have a pretty vintage looking ornament. Oh, I love how that looks. It looks like it's shiny. Let's do that here too. By going in a little further, it knocks some of that white back a little more. But where I don't hit it with the antique or the distressing, it looks like light. So that white just looks brighter there. I don't know that I'm going to need this, but I'm going to poke a hole in the top. This may not even show when I'm finished, but I think it'll be cool if I go ahead and have a hole in case I want to run actual ribbon through it, which I might do. I'll show you how we're going to attach these in just a second. It could be actual ornaments. You could literally make tree ornaments out of these and be done. Cover the back with some pretty paper, tie a bow at the top, and you've made an ornament. Those are super cool. So my plan for these ornaments, this is the top where the little handle is. My plan for these ornaments is to have them kind of hang in different spots here on this piece, and then have ribbon suspending them, and then have our greenery at the top of each one like this, just to have kind of a pretty little pop there of some greenery and a bow. I think a bow would be really pretty on the top of each one of these guys. And I told you originally I wanted to make this where I could flip it around on the wall. But to do that, everything has to be very flat here. And I've decided I don't want to do that because I want to add a bow. So what I'm going to do is make this where it's just a table sitting. So you just sit it where the Christmas side is showing, and you can flip it where the fall side is showing. So we can still get both. But I think it'll be better if I don't try to turn it around on the wall because that'll make these guys flatten out. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to put something behind them to make them pop a little bit more. I'm going to pop them, since I'm not going to hang this on the wall, I'm going to pop them up dimensionally. I can't decide if I want to maybe mix these with multi-greens instead of just one green, or I don't know. I'm going to play a little bit and we'll figure it out. You guys are really going to think I'm crazy, but I told you there's no rules with mixed media that I know of. There probably are, but I don't follow any rules. I'm taking one of these Nuvo sponges that I cut the bottom off to make it really flat, and I'm using that mixed media paste that's in the top of my lid, and I'm going around and I am doing this kind of thing for some texture and to knock some of that wood back. I want the wood to show. I want to be able to see the wood, but I need it to be less busy, if that makes sense, so that when I hang my ornaments on, it won't be quite so dark. I'll show you what I mean. So like if I put an ornament here Now it will show better. See how it pops out of there? But I want it to be shadow-like. I don't want it to be like a solid piece of paper or anything. I could do a piece of paper, but I don't want that. I want it to be, you know, like a shadow. So I'm just going to run around and do this. And I may even put another, some more of that Perfect Pearls on here. I'm probably going to try it and see what it looks like. So that is what it looks like with the white. And I know right now it looks weird, but I want to show you. See how much more this will pop off of there? If not, it kind of blends into the background, but it will pop. I'm going to let this dry because it's not dry. Then I think I'm going to drag it with some of that, what is this, the Perfect Medium. And then I'm going to try to put some more Perfect Pearls on there just to see. What can it hurt? It's mixed media. We can play. Okay, I'm going to take this Perfect Medium and I'm just going to drag it. And I'm just going to let it grab wherever it grabs. I'm going to do half first so that it doesn't dry before I can put the powder on. And now I'm going to take the same silvery pearls that I used on my little brush. I just think the shimmer is so pretty. Set it off in the cap, and we're just going to go. Now before I set this, I'm going to wipe this off to get any excess off. Feel all that texture? Oh, it's crazy. Okay, and then there is shimmer. Can you see it? There's some. See that glare? Some shimmer. And I'm going to mist this to set it. Just with water. Yes, I'm misting on the paper, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't really mind if it gets a little distressed looking. I'm good with that. All right, I'm going to let that dry. While that's drying, we're going to use some Scotty on this guy. So I'm going to get some foam. And let's see, this piece can go right there. I think I'm going to use 2 layers high of foam instead of just 1 layer. So peel some more off. Peel this backer off. Pop that up like that. So that way it'll be a little bit higher off of the board. I think it'll look better that way. Okay, I have these guys popped up, or this branch is popped up. What I want to do, I kind of want that branch to run kind of high at the top like this, and I'm going to use it to, or the foam tape to keep the ribbon in the back. Does that make sense? Like I'm going to run the ribbon to the back of this guy and stick it onto the foam tape. I'll show you what I mean. Like I'm going to peel the backer off of this one. Okay, and then I'm going to run this ornament where I want it. I think I'll let it be pretty low. Then I'm going to stick this into the foam in the back. Like so. Good, and I can trim off that excess. Okay, so that's one. Now let's stick the other one on. Oh, it's going to go here, so we're all right. Don't need to peel another one off. Let's see where we're at. Lay that down and wrap it around into the tape. Perfect. Perfect. All right, and then I am going to peel this one off for the last one. And I'm going to do it the same way. Put my branch up. Put my ornament up. And then wrap it into the foam. And then trim off any excess. Now that should hold all of my ornaments in place. And don't forget, I'm also going to do the foam tape on the ornaments as another sticky part to hold it in place. All right, so our ornaments are on. And we're going to lay this down. We'll stick the branch down sort of to the top, like so. And now all of our ornaments are stuck into place as well. This one's too high. I don't like how high that one got, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and run some glue here to hold that ribbon down. Probably overkill, but I think it'll be cool to have it nice and smooth and kind of give the illusion that the ornament's heavy and it's pulling snug, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm starting to like this better. I did not love it, before, but I'm starting to like it better. And I like that the ornaments are not all like perfectly placed on the canvas. It kind of forced me to not do that, and I have a habit of doing that, so I'm glad this kind of worked like this. All right, now I'm going to go back here and take the foam backer, the sticky protector off of the foam, so I can get these guys stuck into place as well. Again, I want tension on that ribbon because I want it to look like it's hanging and kind of heavy. Perfect. Now to decide about greenery. I really love this spriggy greenery, but I am afraid it is too spriggy because it looks a little different than the other branches. So I want to kind of dry run lay this out to see how this is going to go with all of the different pieces that I cut. And if I can use them, I will, because I really do like them. But if I feel like they're too different, I may go to just these pieces. I believe I lost a little footage, and it's going to break my heart because it was good. So I'm going to try to tell you what I did. I think my software stopped recording, but these are the two products I just used from Nouveau. They are Silver Jubilee and Aztec Gold glitter accents, okay? I took the silver one and I just tipped these guys all with the glitter, and I did the top of the branch with the glitter, okay? Then I took this silver one, and inside of the stencil where those white pieces were, I did silver glitter. You can see that there. It's all glitter. And then in this kind of charcoal one, which has turned out to be my favorite ornament, I did this gold inside. And so in real life, it is absolutely gorgeous, but the sparkle is so much for camera. Look at that. It's so pretty. Then in this guy, I used crystal accents. I know crystal glaze from Nouveau, the same stuff, but you can see here when I move it like this, you'll see like a glassy shimmer. There it is. So in the clear, because I didn't want to lose the dots, I just put that in. And I did that all on camera, and I think I've lost it. So I'm sorry about that. We'll know if I did, if it's not in this video. Then I discussed that I wanted to let this dry before I put bows on. Now, this is what I've decided to use for my bow. This is some just gold ribbon I had from my stash, and it's a perfect color for this because it kind of ties all those kind of browns and kind of rusties and golds into this. So I'm going to tie 3 bows to go on top of these ornaments. You could totally do different ribbon, like different ones, and I don't think I'm going to need to. I think this is going to work. Okay, I'm going to do bunny ear bows. Super easy. I'm going to make 2 little bunny ears, just like this. And I typically leave this a little longer than I think I'm going to need it to be, and I use it on my roll because I can cut it off later and, you know, get it to the size I need. So I usually have a little bit too much on one side. See that? I left that long on purpose. See how that would have tucked in? And then I have too little on the other. So let's get this all working out. And you can mess with this bow and get it just right, and then pull it nice and tight. And then just mess with these until you get them like you want them. So there's one bow. I'm going to trim that off of the roll there. I'll do the cleanup of the ends of the ribbons in a few minutes. No big deal. I'm going to bring this back over. Now, I don't feel like it's 100% dry, but this video has taken me a while to film because of the dry time between everything, and it's time for me to edit it and put it on YouTube for you guys to see. So I'm going to hot glue these bows here, and I'm going to trim them like I want them. And you know what I think I want? I don't think I want that big of tails. I think I want my tails to almost be like the size of the bow itself. Let's see if I can just do that real quick. Like, I want them just to barely come past the loops. There's that one, and then let's do this one like that too. Drop that off. Okay, so I want them to be something like that so that they kind of sit to either side and they don't hang over my ornament, because I think they're prettier to kind of sit like that. Let's trim this one the same. So what I was saying is, these need hot glue, and I want to put the hot glue on them, but my time is running short on this video, and I need to get it edited. So instead of me gluing these down right now, I'm just going to put them in place. And then in photos, in the thumbnail, and if I can get some photos in the end of the video here, which I think I can, you'll see them glued on. I think that's super cute, and that's what this guy looks like, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I had finished this guy, and I was not going to do any more. But you remember I had these greeneries that I love so much and I didn't use? Look how good they look tucked behind the ornaments, as if they were hanging on a tree, and the tree was kind of, you know, behind them. They just look really good, and I didn't want to waste them. I'd already created them, so I started playing around tucking them, and I just think they look really good. So I'm going to glue them into place, and then I'm going to take the glitter, and do the same thing I did at the top and just shimmer them up with the glitter. But I'm just kind of placing them to see. But I really think they add something at the bottom, as if the tree, you know, were behind it. I think it looks good. So I'm going to glue these down. So there they are on. And just in case I missed this while ago when I was filming, when I lost some footage, this is what I did. I just squeezed and rubbed. I squeezed the glitter bottle while I just rubbed across the little greenery like this, and it caught just enough to kind of give the sparkle wherever it needs it. And when the light hits it, it's very sparkly. So I'm just scrubbing this onto the little greenery so it looks like it's kind of ice capped. You can kind of see that there. I'll move it around in a second so it'll shimmer so you can see it. So there we go. There's some of that shimmer. When it dries, it'll shimmer even more. But just like at the top, see how that's dry up there and you can see it? So there it is, all complete. I'm super happy. It's still got a little drying time to go. I really do like how it turned out. I wasn't sure. Y'all know I was kind of like, I don't know. I think adding the branch, adding the extra greenery, it really helped. Plus the glitter. I don't know. It's been a fun process. It is a process because, you know, we created all this ourselves. So there you go. If you do this, I want to see it. You can share it with us on our customer gallery. You can also share it with us on social media. Anywhere you post your photos, just tag us in your photos. And don't forget, this is going to be another project as well, because on the inside of this guy, we're going to create a fall project. So when it's showing one way, it's Christmas. And when we turn it around, it'll be fall. So until next time, have a great one. Bye-bye.